Hello, welcome to It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We got an absolutely fantastic guest today, but you all know what day it is. It's Wednesday, 306 degrees of health. And so we got another absolutely fantastic doctor that's going to be joining us today, and it's going to bring a whole lot of insight to a couple of things out there. And I tell you, I had an opportunity to chat with her in the green room prior to the show, and she is absolutely wonderful. And she's coming to us from the state of Florida. So I tell you what, just sit back, get comfortable, open up your mind, your ears, and just take it in. Dr. Michael Mantel is not joining us today to have a Passover, and so he will be back with us next Wednesday. So I got it, and you know what? We're gonna move forward. And Dr. Michelle Cooley might join us later on today, but let me tell you a little bit about this guest today. Actually, why don't I do this first? Yes, yes. So we got Dr. Miriam uh, Zylberglait. I think I got her name right. She's gonna correct us if we didn't. But she is doing so many great things out there, and we're gonna talk about a lot of different things. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Dr. Z is what she is known as. Is a triple board certified physical physician in internal medicine, Geriatrics, obesity medicine, and the founder of Virtual Wellbeing MD, a clinic that offers comprehensive holistic personalized care to patients using advanced technologies, evidence-based medicine to prevent and treat medicine and emotional conditions that could affect their current and their future quality of life. So I want to get started with this right now because we're gonna have her to tell us a little bit about her, what she grew up, why she's so passionate about medicine, and just uh, she's just excited. So I want to bring her to the stage right now, Dr. Z. How are you doing, Dr. Z?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me. And I thank Dr. Mantel a hello and a happy Passover for everybody that is celebrating it today.
Oh, absolutely. Dr. Z, as Dr. Mante was telling me when you're chatting with you now, can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about you, where you grew up, why you chose the medical field, why you so passionate about what you do?
Um, I guess I am passionate a big part because of my roots. I am a Latin girl that comes with the genes, I guess, of being Latin. We are passionate. I am from Peru. I grew up there and went to medical school there, practiced for 10 years as a physician in the Navy. And I came to this country almost 13 years ago to start from zero again, to become a physician here, to get married, to have two wonderful boys, and to reinvent myself in this country.
Yeah, so what made you choose the medical field? Was it something that in Peru, it's in the family, or you just locked in on that, or how do you choose that field?
To be sincere and to be transparent, it was kind of a mistake. It was a random, random situation of life. Um, I don't have any family, close family in the medical field. I have been all my life terrified of needles. I still am. And I used to faint in front of blood. So to the point that I became vegetarian, a big part of that was the reason. And my dream since I was a girl was to save the world, to help people, but I never thought in as medicine as an option. To be sincere, I was thinking about a psychologist, a diplomat, but not really. Medicine was, I mean, nothing that I will think about. My best friend, since I was 3 years old in school, she came one day to me when we were 14 or 15, at the point that we have to decide our careers. And she told me, well, if you want to be a psychologist, what about you are actually a psychiatrist? You use a white coat, you will earn more money, you will have the title of doctor, and we will be together in medical school. We are friends forever. So that's, and I thought that was reasonable. I didn't know that psychiatrists also need to go through all the trauma of the blood and etc. So I was clueless. I went home and my parents told me, "You are crazy. This is not happening. We are not paying medical school." Uh, and you need to say that to an adolescent just to, go for it. So I went for it. I became a doctor, which makes me very proud. I'm happy about it. And my very good friend never applied to medical school. She chose another another career. So yeah, that's the real story.
That's I was getting ready to ask you because in most cases that's how that is. Uh, your friend choose to do something else, you know, So, but obviously she was one of the people that inspired you to do that with that conversation that forced you to think. But role models, who was some of your role models that you looked up to, that you still look up to, and that you learn a lot from them that you abide by today?
Very good question. And I believe that the answer is very complex because I don't think that I have one individual. I believe that I have several through life and for different situations. I believe that my dad, for example, is and will be forever my role model. Daddy, Papa, si me ves, I love you. But especially in everything related to morality and ethics and working hard and being kind. I believe that as a human, he has been always my role model, will be always my role model. And in the other extreme, in the same area of being a good human, my kids are my role model. My boys have been after me, throwing my cell phone on the garbage, telling me that people is more important than phones. And telling me that I should not stay in a work where I am not happy, but instead to quit my job and become my own boss because I will like my boss then. So I believe that my two boys truly changed my life for better, even they torture me many times per week and per day in many other ways, but they have been telling me again and again with their actions and with their words that there are things that are important in life that they don't have a price and they don't have a monetary value, and that family goes first.
I've got a friend of mine, Dr. Ballin Durr, who's also a psychiatrist, saying that's a great story. Wow, but it's just great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely real. Yeah, I, I cannot make up something like this, I guess.
What is your motto when it comes to your patient's care?
I believe that since I went to medical school for the wrong reasons or for the right reasons, I'm not necessarily sure. um, my goal was always to make people happy and to feel better in general. So when I practice medicine, I don't practice medicine thinking about the liver or the kidney or the blood pressure or the laboratory result. I always, my goal is to make that person to feel better in general. And I was very lucky that my training in Peru as a geriatric doctor, specializing in the elderly people, was very holistic, very comprehensive. My mentors there, and then here when I came to the US, taught me that you cannot treat a patient without considering their cultural background, the social and emotional aspects, even religious, and you know, the real life, the real context. You cannot separate them from their reality. And I feel like that's something that I have been doing all my life, and I continue doing as a physician. I see humans in front of me, and that's what I want to do, to treat humans, to treat people.
Well, you mentioned, and we got about a minute before the break, but I think you mentioned that you went into the Navy. You spent some
Yes.
time. Can you tell me just in 1 minute about that?
Yes, when you go out of medical school in Peru, you have to serve something like do something that is called rural service for 1 year, and there are not many spots that are paid. My dad was not working at the time for our moral decision, and that I supported, and I needed a job. So I went to the Navy just with an introduction. I didn't have anybody in the Navy, and I spoke with the admiral in charge of the hospital, and I told him, it's like, I am the only person that could work right now. I cannot have a job without payment. I need to help my parents. And he says, there are only 3 spots that will be paid. And I'm like, and I deserve one of them because I am being transparent with you. He gave me that position, and that's how I entered the Navy.
You know what? I tell you what, Dr. Z, we got to take a station break. This is exciting. When we get back, we're going to get off into the meat of a lot of things that Dr. Z is doing. So if you want to be part of the conversation, regardless of which platform you're watching this on, whether you're watching this on E360 TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, over 55 other live streaming platforms, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments portion, ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Heaven Abounds in You takes you on an inward journey of discovery that dramatically transforms your outward experience of life. Discover the power of belief. Utilize it in connection with science to create a vision of meaning and purpose that pulls you forward. Let go of the meager me to discover the magnificent me. Let go of your painful past and live life free from fear, worry, and stagnation. Experience an abundant universe as you powerfully create happiness, relationships, health, and limitless opportunities. When you heal your mind, all things are possible.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
Hello, welcome back to James Cooley Show. It's your life, and my guest here, Dr. Z. She got the audience fired up. She got me fired up, and I see we got lots and lots of people watching you right now. Yeah, so, but just what I like, Doc, humor have to be in everything that we do.
Yes.
Even telling our story, it just comes across better, authentic, and it's just wanted to build everyone up. So I like to thank you for that.
No, thank you. I believe that we have this idea that leaders or doctors or someone with a TV that looks serious, they need to be serious, right? And they need to look in such a way. And for a long time in my life and my career, I thought that too, right? And I was masking myself, trying to be the leader that I want to be, right? And you can imagine that has not been very easy for me to be a serious person or so I don't know, professional, like look professional. I believe that we are who we are, and we can be kind leaders, and we can be happy leaders, and we can be vulnerable leaders, and that creates a better relationship with those that are working with us, for us, those that we are teaching, and those that we want to connect with, and especially in medicine, right? When you have, as a physician, the privilege to see that person in front of you in the most vulnerable place, right? Emotionally and physically naked many times, right? So if you are not a human, if you don't act as a human, and if you are not approachable, I believe that it's very hard to connect with someone that is not approachable.
And you're absolutely right. Now, there is a time where we have to have that staunch look. But I think it's so important just to be you. A lot of people think that we're doctors, we're this, and we're not approachable, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's not true. We can all be ourselves. We can also be professional when it comes time to do that. So, hey, Doc, I want to go into the topic of this. Why was it so important that you chose this topic today? The importance of health and mental well-being to achieve success. Can you tell our viewers and listeners why this is so important to you?
Because I have been a victim of that fake idea that we need to put ourselves on the edge and push ourselves again and again to be successful without even recognizing what is success for me. And how this is related to my reality and my values. We have this crazy concept of success, and we enter in a wheel, the hamster wheel, and we start running and running and running, and suddenly we forget about why we are running and what we are trying to achieve. That has been me, a typical workaholic and type A and super achiever. And what happened during COVID, because of COVID and because of many things that happened at the same time of COVID, is that I realized that I was really running without direction, that I was compromising not only my well-being, my health, my happiness, but truly the well-being of those that I love the most, my family, my parents, my kids, my husband, my marriage, and my friends. And I hope I can transmit a message to others so they don't have to go through all this and years later realize that they were doing something that was not necessarily the best. And they can learn from the experience of someone else and avoid themselves the suffering, the pain, and the damage that you can cause to yourself and to your loved ones when you do this.
Wow. And I think that's so important. So can you tell our viewers and listeners just watching this, how does prioritizing your physical health, such as exercise, nutrition, contribute to an individual's ability to perform at their highest, best possibility to achieve success in life?
Well, I mean, think about. I like to use examples, right? And let's pick an imaginary person, a woman or a guy that are trying to work 20 hours per day because they have, a big project that will give them a lot of money and visibility and success in the technical way that we define it, right? So they are working 20 hours one day, 2 days a week, 3 weeks, right? And they are not resting appropriately, they are not eating up. It will take, not, I don't know, one extra day, 3 extra days for them to collapse. And when I talk about collapsing, it's like for how long you can concentrate, for how long you can be productive in your maximum level, right? Or creative in your maximum level if you don't sleep, if you don't eat well, if you are not moving, if you are not preventing medical conditions, if you are not going to your doctor, if you are not paying attention to a pain that is bothering you. What we don't understand is that our productivity is totally related to our ability to perform. And our ability to perform is completely related to our health, emotionally and physically. So if we are sick, if we are in pain, if we are depressed, if we have insomnia, uh, it will take just a little. It's like the last drop for us to collapse as humans, and we will get hopefully just sick. But how many times what we have really is this individual that has a heart attack and never comes back from that one, or has an important stroke and will never be able to work again. So success really comes with a baseline that is necessary for us to perform. And health, I mean, we repeat that again and again, right? Is health is necessary for everything. Health is also necessary for success.
You had mentioned, people working 16, 20 plus hours a day and they get all stressed out. Dr. Dirty said, okay, how long does it take to recover from working like that?
Uh, the theory, right? And if you go back to the articles, what it says that someone that is at the point of burnout will need 2 years to recover from burnout, right? And I want to explain the term burnout because I believe it's important. We use it a lot, but it's important to understand the definition. Burnout is described as a person that is suffering from fatigue, that is exhausted. That's number one. Second is that is not motivated to work, or feeling or acting in a way that shows that there is not interest in what she's or he's doing. And the third part, which is probably close to the term success, right? How is this related to success? Is not able to perform at the level of that is average. So they perform below average. So again, how you can be successful if you perform below average. So these three aspects correlate or are the definition of burnout. And to get to that point, that means that you have been struggling for a while, right? That you have been doing things or tolerating things, right? Because many, especially in the medical world, will say that has been suffering from abuse, from a system that is broken, from moral injury, right? But beyond the reason, at the point that you get to burnout, you are sick. And I want to clarify this because we have something that we call the ICD 10 or 11 code, which is a kind of a book. Instead of the names on the telephone numbers, like we had before, we have diseases and codes that we use to identify medical conditions. And right now, burnout belongs to that book, to that guideline. Right now, burnout is considered a medical condition. So we are talking about something that is serious right now.
Wow. I think we got another question. It says, Dr. Bear, speaking as a professional who works on calls every 4 days for 32 hours or more, or 2 to 3 hours of sleep.
I remember. I remember. To be honest, when I was young, that was totally fun. I didn't know anything else. I didn't know that was actually affecting my long-term quality of life. I thought that was actually cool. I was full of adrenaline at that point. I didn't have kids or a husband waiting at home. So if I will go home, I will faint for a few hours and I will eat unhealthy food, right? A lot of carbs and chocolates to kind of get the energy back. And I will go back to the hospital next day like nothing. But this is something that you can do when you're in your 20s, in your 30s, but then life, catch up with you. And when you have other responsibilities and when your body is not in the 20s anymore, this is not sustainable. And again, even if, for those that are not physicians or nurses or are in the healthcare world, let me clarify something. This is not a problem that just affects the doctor or the nurse. This is truly a problem that affects the community. When you today consider that 65% of physicians are burnout, 60% of physicians have signs of clinical depression, and 400 physicians die by suicide every year in the United States, and this is happening before COVID. This is not because of COVID. This has been happening before COVID. So you go today to the emergency room or you go to the clinic or you will have a surgery or a delivery of your kid and you have 65% of probability to have a physician and therefore a nurse or a complete team that is burnout, performing below average, exhausted, and not motivated to be there with you. So this affects the user, meaning the patient, the community, as much or more than the physician per se. Because if you see 25, 50 patients per day, how many are you seeing below average? How many patients are being affected by these physicians or nurses that are not in a healthy shape?
Wow. As you see, Dr. Balance said we were nuts because she was doing the same thing.
We love it. I miss it. I cannot explain the oh my goodness, the adrenaline, the happiness. I used to celebrate being there. I had a pillow and a blanket in my car in Peru, and I will not, and some extra clothes because I will stay some days even if I was not supposed to. I have a cool case to follow, and I will be there. And it was great. I believe that that's not wrong if it's something that you do because it's your choice, right? But with something that you do for long term, and that's the difference between a stress, right? Acute stress and chronic stress. Acute stress is great. We use it to perform. It's actually amazing. When you have a stress, you will have, more energy to study, to run, to do whatever. It's a great thing to have. But that's the high performer, right? With acute stress. But then you have the one that has chronic stress that has been doing this daily for a few months. And you will see how this performance declines because you get this high cortisol, but that is an hormone in your body that at the end will really hurt you and will affect the way that your brain functions and your body in general functions. And if you keep going on that, what happens with long chronic stress is that we increase our risk of having diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, even cancer, and of course, mortality, depression, anxiety. So acute cool stress is great. I embrace it. I need it. Chronic stress is a different animal.
Hey, Doc, we're going to take a station break, but you had mentioned something a second about, I think you mentioned 400 physicians or more commit suicide a year. I want to come back to that one when we get back. And this is so intriguing. This is so important of a conversation. Dr. Z, I can just tell you right now that you are great and you know your stuff. You know, so we're gonna take a station break, and if you want to be part of the conversation, now you got all these platforms that you guys are watching this on. All you do is go to the comments on the platforms, ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who you are. The one that keeps us close when we're apart. Talking from the darkness of all that we've been through. It seems that there might be a way to leave behind the loneliness we've known and live again life of need.
Hello, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be on it, to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection. Welcome back to James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I'm truly excited. I'm, I'm, I am truly into this interview that I'm having with Dr. Z. And I know if you're watching, you're into it as well because enthusiasm is most important thing, regardless of whether you're a doctor, you're police, or you're educator, or whatever that is, authentic, being able to convey your thoughts, being able to do this up front and have a smile on your face because believe in what you're doing. And that's the feeling that I'm getting from you, Dr. Z. You love what you're doing, you believe in what you're doing, and you're excited about what you're doing.
I hope I know what I am doing because I am very excited about it. I truly believe that each of us, and I agree with you 100%, no matter our career, our background, our age, we can influence the world, and we can create a butterfly effect that touch the life of others. And my dad always says that to keep going, that don't wait for the results, right? Don't be just waiting for the results. Do the things that you have to do because you believe on them, because not always the results will be evident right now in front of you, but maybe you are touching someone far away, and you are doing something amazing for someone else. So if I can empower others today to be kind, to touch the life of others. You never know who is in the elevator with you. You don't know who is sitting next to you in the movie theater or in a restaurant, and they may be suffering or going through a difficult moment, and just a word with kindness, just a I love your dress. You look so beautiful today. Could change the complete mindset for the day for that person. And
You mentioned mindset, yeah. And one thing that I do, I'm a motivation speaker. This and that. You never know who's watching you, or I'm talking in whatever situation or circumstance that is, and you never know how you might motivate somebody just by being you. Like, wow, just like you mentioned, wow, you got that's a nice dress you got on. Whatever that is, that could have changed that person's whole mindset that day because they probably were thinking about, and we're gonna get into this in a few minutes, killing themselves or something, all that. You never know. I believe that God send us certain thoughts to certain people at the right time and at the right moment. You know, so hey, I want to get back to a point, and we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one. You had mentioned something about a number of women physicians committing suicide and increasingly, and I think Dr. Dare picked up on that as well. Can you go into that a little bit more?
yes, actually, if you don't mind, and with all the respect, I would like to make a correction with the word committing. And I am doing this because I used to use it too. And I learned from someone that I really have tremendous respect, Leslie. Actually, she lost her son by suicide, and she has this amazing organization that tries to advocate for youngs at risk. And she taught me that committing has a negative connotation. It's like you commit a crime, and that suicide is not a crime. So there is this effort to change the term from committing to say die by suicide. And I know that may look very similar for many of us, and maybe not important to use one term or another, but I am trying to following her advice and her recommendation as an expert in the area to educate the community so we reduce the negative impact that this term has for, especially for the victim, for those that are surviving someone that was lost by suicide. So I wanted to bring this to the attention as something that I just also learned, and I believe that it's fair as for sensitivity towards those that suffer. Regarding physicians, so women physicians are dying more than male physicians by suicide. That's what majority of the studies show. New data is showing something different that is probably almost the same. But the truth is that if you think about the group, right, you are thinking about the group of physicians, even nurses, and many other professionals in the healthcare system. They are very well educated, and especially very well educated about the red flags that are in front of them when they are depressed or stressed or burnout. And you ask yourself why someone so well educated will have this type of la- solution for their problems, if you want to call it like that. And the reality is that, number one, we have been taught that we are superheroes, that we should not complain about anything, that we should always put patient first. And that means that we don't eat, we don't sleep, we don't rest. We miss weddings and high holidays because patient goes first, and therefore our health is second. And many times, if you are a mother or a father or a caregiver in general, your health is the third or the fourth or the fifth in the line, and we don't take care of ourselves. And we try to also underestimate our own signs, right? Our own red flags. It's like, no, probably it's nothing, I will be okay. And then you feel embarrassed to ask for help because the rest of your group, right, they are working the same hours that you are working, they are having the same challenges and probably the same type of situations at home that you have. So why you will say that you are tired or that you are not in the right mood or that you feel sick if everybody is working? So that doesn't look well, so you will hide that. And last but not least, in many cities, states in this country, physicians and nurses are penalized for asking for help. And the reality is that in our contracts, our applications for jobs, applications for license or renewal of our license, we need to disclose if we have been seen a psychiatrist or a psychologist, if we are receiving any type of medication for a mental health illness, or if we are suffering of any mental health illness. Meaning that if you approach or you reach out for help, you will have to say so in your documentation. And that means that you may be not accepted for the license or not accepted for the job, and you are losing the opportunity to practice medicine or nursing again. So all this combination creates a severe problem where physicians and nurses are not receiving the help that they need when they need it. And if you add to that the amount of patients that they have to see per day, some will tell you 30, 40 patients, if not more per day, depending on the specialty. The resources are limited. The number of people in the staff is reduced and reduced, so you don't have help. The schedules are difficult. And what we call moral injury, right? The bosses, the CEOs expect from us to do productivity. So chin, 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 money, 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 instead of high quality of care, engaging care, kind care. So you are really breaking the soul of physicians and other healthcare professionals. And
Wow.
that's
You know,
reality.
wow, we got so much to talk about. I'm gonna tell you right now, um, we're not gonna get through all this stuff, but I want to invite you back right now when I have my partner, Dr. Michael Mantel here. And so whatever we don't get through today, we will get through in the next 3 to 4 weeks when you're back on the show.
I'm on. Thank you for the invitation, and it will be a pleasure to be with Dr. Mantel also.
Oh, absolutely. He's absolutely fantastic. We got about a minute and a half before the break, but you had mentioned something when I was talking to you about the four different pandemics of 2024. In a minute and a half, can you break it down initially to our viewers and our listeners, and we'll come back to it after the break.
So for me, there are four pandemics right now. One is for sure mental health. 1 in 5 individuals in the United States suffer from a mental health condition. And the last year, we have 49,000 individuals that die by suicide just in 1 year. 500 of those were kids between 6 and 10 years, the ages of my kids. So that's number one for sure. The second for me is obesity. Around 30% of the population has obesity in the United States. The other 30-40% is overweight. So we have 70% of the population with a weight that is abnormal. And the reason number one of mortality in this country is cardiovascular disease. That means, and that's the result in many cases of abnormal weight, abnormal lifestyles, eating, and not exercising. So that's number two. The third one has been mentioned by the Surgeon General, and is loneliness. And we know that loneliness is associated with negative outcomes and in health and quality of life. And last but not least, I believe that compassion fatigue is one of the most important. After COVID and after suffering for so long, so much stress, we are all, majority of us, burnout. And part of it is that we are in survival mode and we are able only to care about ourselves and the minimum that we need to do to survive and to keep those around us surviving. But we cannot really put our hearts on helping others in the way that we used to.
Well, hold that though. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to come back. We're going to pick it up. And you guys are going to get an opportunity. Just like I said. You're going to see Dr. Z again within the next 3 weeks, if her schedule permits. But right now, I just want you guys to sit back, think about some of the things that she's saying, and we're going to take a quick commercial break, but we're going to come back and talk some more. It's your life. We'll see you shortly after the break.
Doctor, James, JC, Cooley, Cooley, Joe. It's your life.
There is much truth in a journey that ain't over yet, as all of us journey through life's precious gift of time, just like James Cooley has. Hi, I'm Noah Dingley, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. There's a new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet. You can join James as he shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. This is a must listen for anyone who thinks they're stuck in life or needs to understand their current situation is not their final destination. Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet is the unfiltered truth to provide hope for the future by challenging you to refuse to become a victim of life's circumstances. It dares you to be an overcomer because a bigger, better, and more impactful life awaits you. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I got this absolutely wonderful guest, wonderful guest on my show today. And I know her parents, I believe, are watching in Peru.
Yeah.
Hey, you all did the right thing and plant the seed in this young lady right here. So I want to commend you. Yeah. So, Dr. Z, we got about 5.5 minutes left in the show, but what I want to talk about right now is your practice and exciting news that you might be opening up in Texas as well. Also, your book.
Yes.
I can't let you get away from the book. So we got about 2.5 minutes on each one of those. Can you tell our viewers and listeners about your book, where they can read, where they can get your book, and what it entails, how it's going to help them?
Oh my gosh, my book is such a beautiful collection of stories, and I was able to interview more than 30 individuals around the world, 4 different continents, from a Buddhist nun to someone in Wall Street, a professional athlete, different careers, different professions, different, I don't know, lifestyles. And each of them share with me stories of challenges and how they overcome them. And what I did is I added my own stories to that, and also science, because I believe that we are thinking that happiness, joy, health, self-care, meditation, and many of these words are just abstract. And the truth is that there is science, neuroscience, that back up why being kind is also something that will make you healthier, and why loving someone will make you have a better quality of life. So this is a book that really goes into the details of how to achieve, a life full of joy, meaning, and well-being. But for me was psychotherapy. I went through all these conversations and I learned so much, and I hope everybody else can learn from this too, and share the stories.
How can they get your book?
They can get, I have a copy
Can you
here, so
raise up?
they
Can you let them
can.
see it?
Yes. They can find it in Amazon, and it's a version in English and a version in Spanish. And there is a version for kids also. So if you want your kid to read about how to achieve goals in life, how to find wellness, how to, achieve their dreams in a healthy way, there's a version for them that I wrote with my voice.
Wow. Okay. So I tell you, on next show, when you come on in about 3 weeks, we're gonna talk about this again, and we're gonna go in deep in your book on how it's gonna help them. Also, tell them about your practice, and tell them where you're located, and tell them that you are moving to other states, and how they can get in touch with you.
So my practice is a virtual practice, a concierge virtual practice. Right now, serving all people in Florida. In a few weeks, opening to all Texas also. What I do is a combination of the traditional medicine, right? The regular normal doctor, but I am adding also technology like remote monitoring, precision medicine. That means that the therapy is done for you based on your results, and aspects of functional medicine. So we are trying to look into the reason why you feel like this, and not only adding band-aids with medication that will not solve the problem. This is very holistic, very comprehensive, very friendly, and you will have access to me directly to my cell phone as being my patient, and you will have appointments in 60 minutes instead of the 15 minutes typical in the regular practice. So it's a practice that goes back to the root of medicine, practicing the art of medicine, and where your doctor is available for you to help you without waiting, without going to laboratories, without making travels to the office. Everything happens in your house or in your office.
Wow. You know what? We out of time. However, I want to say, Dr. Mike, I know you're watching the show. Yeah, hey, Dr. Mike, you did well again, like you always do. We're gonna have Dr. Z back on, hopefully within the next 3 weeks, if for time permit her. And we'll have my partner, my main man, Dr. Michael Mantell, on with me.
Oh
So
my gosh, will be
I,
amazing.
it's
It's,
he is
it's
amazing.
all of you.
He's amazing. I want to thank you for taking the time to come on the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and just educate us. Of course, we needed more time, and we will get more time. So I'd like to thank you. Tell your mom and dad over in Peru and whoever else is watching you, hey, thank you. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely outstanding show. Most importantly, I'd like to thank you, the viewers, our listeners, for tuning in to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And also on syndicated radio on Sunday, 10 a.m. at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the message is always, that's KCBQ, by the way. The message is always to dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Remember, it's your life. We'll see you. We'll see you then.